Ladies and gentlemen, re loco por tu amor, no entenderán que más esta pasión jugando bien. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm gonna put I'll leave that on in the background just for a little bit, but guys, welcome, very special welcome back to another episode of the Heron Saver podcast here on the SoFlo Soccer Channel. My name is Matt, your host as always, and Inter Miami are the best team in the MLS. We are the best team in history after defeating New England Revolution 6-2 on Saturday. 6-2. And we made history in MLS, most points in the MLS regular season, beating New England's record of 73. We have 74. And that was thanks to a game-winning goal of Benja Kermanshi and an 11-minute hat trick by Lionel Messi off the bench. We have a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about, the playoffs now that we're going into playoffs. This is something that we've been expecting for a while now, and it's finally here. It's finally going to happen. And I'm very excited. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Club World Cup. We're going to talk about Lionel Messi. We're going to talk about Inter Miami as a whole. We're going to talk about the rest of the MLS and the playoff situation, the post game or postseason situations for various teams who we're going to be facing this Friday in our first playoff game in our round one best of three series, and so much more. So stay tuned. We'll try to get everything organized. But first, let's talk about the game, right? We'll talk about the game, and then we'll get on to everything else. But the game, guys, the game was incredible. I'll pull up the stats here. I'll pull up the lineup in just a second. But the game was spectacular, and I don't think it was worrying, right? It was a little bit worrying in the beginning. I was a little worried because we conceded the first two goals, right? We conceded the first two goals. We were down to nothing. I believe it was like we were like 30 minutes in. I'm trying to look it up here. Yeah, 35 minutes in. We were down to nothing. Luis Suarez scores the brace to make it 2-2. Second half, Messi gets subbed on in about the 58th minute. He immediately makes an impact, getting a second assist, a hockey assist. And boom, he makes his Messi magic, scores the hat trick, and ended up winning 6-2. This was the starting 11 from Saturday night for Inter Miami. We have Troy Calendar in goal. The back four of Chelo Martinez making the appearance with Aviles and El Chelo Wengant. It's great to see Martinez out there. We're going to talk about Martinez in a second. We have Benja Kermanshi making his first appearance in a while, I feel like. Boosie, Bright in the midfield. But we finally see Boosie and Bright in the midfield. I feel like we haven't seen that as much, like officially. We always see kind of Boosie in the defense, and then in the midfield it would be like Bright and Redondo with Gressel. But no, so we finally see Boosie and Bright in the midfield. Benja Kermanshi. Up top is Robert Taylor, who we haven't seen or I think makes his first start in a while. I don't remember when the last time he started. We see Robert Taylor, we see Luis Suarez, and then Julian Gressel as the right winger. Messi on the bench, Diego Gomez on the bench, Redondo on the bench. A lot of players on the bench. Noah Allen didn't make the start. Obviously, even Frey he would be on the bench because why wouldn't he? And but yes, and it was an amazing game. I honestly, so just speaking purely, if you just want to talk about the formation and how we went into the game, did not mind it at all. So, because you got to remember, right? So Messi's just coming off international duty. He just scored a hat trick against freaking Bolivia, and so he wasn't probably going to be fully fit to play the 90 minutes. Maybe he was, right? Maybe he was, but just to kind of play it safe, let's just bring Messi off the bench. Tata Martino expressed that the points record wasn't really anything important to him, so there was just no point in risking somebody like Messi in a game that essentially didn't matter. He still wanted to win. He still wanted the boys to win and play well, but keeping the guys safe and injury free was more important to him. That was just more of a priority, which makes 100% sense. Messi still came off the bench and he did his magic, but Gressel, I'm not gonna lie to you, not that he looked off, but I felt like some things weren't clicking with Gressel. I'm a big Gressel supporter on this channel, as you guys know. If you guys have been here since day one, I've been huge, massively supporting Gressel, while others would hate on him. And so I don't want to focus too much on the negatives, right? But I just want to point some stuff out before we go like explosively positive, right? But um, props to Luis Suarez for scoring the 2 goals. I mean, he was pretty eager, honestly, especially in the first half. In the first half, he was very eager to score, and he was getting a lot of shots. Not a lot of them were on target, but you could tell that he was very determined to get on the board, and maybe he really wanted to fight for that top goal scorer spot. And after scoring those 2 goals, and with the momentum that Miami picked up in the second half, you would assume that he probably would have gotten maybe 1 or 2 more. However, that didn't happen. But no, great game from Luis Suarez. It was a great game from Bright. Great game from Cremachi. We got to give him a lot of credit for scoring that goal, being in the position, linking up with Messi and Jordi Alba. I've always rated Benja, and I love his agility, his versatility, and his aggressiveness, his determination. I love it all, and the way that he was able to get in a position to score that game-winning goal. Props to him. Want to give him his flowers. I want to talk about the defense, specifically with Avilés and Martinez, and even with Calendar, because a lot of people I feel like would kind of point fingers at Calendar because of the goals that he would concede, right? But at the end of the day, right, when you think about it, when you look at it from a bigger picture, Martinez was the one who was at fault for conceding the first goal. He made a mistake. He did, I think he mistimed his leg or something. He tried to reach out for the ball. He just mistimed a tackle or a challenge or whatever, interception, whatever you want to call it. His timing was off. Defensive transition. We've always spoke about it throughout the season. Defensive transition. And we got beat on that defensive transition, and then we scored. It was a deflection. Aviles ended up getting a block on that shot. Fell right back into, I think it was Langoni. And then they scored, right? The second goal, Barreto, I think the second goal was also kind of weird. And it went into a weird space behind Calendar. Doesn't matter. Don't want to put all the blame on Calendar. The defense was we were always essentially what I'm trying to say is both of the goals were in defensive transitions, and that's something that we've always struggled, and that's something that we're still gonna have to keep an eye out for in the postseason. Especially if we're gonna go in with Aviles and Martinez being our starting 2 center backs, and if those are gonna be the guys that we're gonna rely on, we're gonna have to really, really, we really need to go all in on how to really perfect this defensive transition on our end, because we can't continue to concede goals in this manner, because we know it's a huge problem. It's been a huge problem all season. The fact that we're now at the postseason, we still can't kind of figure it out, no matter what center back we have. It's kind of it's a real big problem. El Toto Aviles, I thought he did good. I thought he did a lot, maybe not a lot better, but better than I thought he would. I thought he would just completely throw away the game. And Martinez is his first game back. It's good to see him on the field. Good to see him get some minutes, and hopefully we can see him perform well in postseason. Chelo's Chelo, and honestly Jordi Alba with the 2 assists. I mean, you can't really get better than that. I mean, but yes. So that's the starting 11, or that was the starting 11. Those are essentially my very quick critiques on everybody. But that's not really why. That's not what this review is all about. This review is more of a celebration. I want it to be more of a happy, more of a kind of a monumental thing for Inter Miami, for this channel. It's been a huge honor to watch these guys perform on the field, and not just for mainly specifically for Messi, for Suarez, for Jordi, and for Busi, but mainly just to see everybody else kind of develop and grow and put pretty solid performances this season. We performed very well this year, and compared to previous years, and it's been a huge jump within a short amount of time. So very proud of the boys for what they've done so far in the regular season. Now it's time. Now we've secured Supporter Shield. We've secured the points record. We've secured our spot in the Clubs World Cup, which we'll get to in a second. But now it's time to focus on postseason. Now it's time to focus on Eastern Conference titles and the MLS Cup. So that's where it's gonna matter the most. We have you guys rolling in the chat. We'll get to you guys, and then we'll start off with these conversations. We got Mike V coming in with his signature entrance. Hashtag Tata out, regardless of the win on Saturday, regardless of the points title, regardless of the supporter shield. Skrilla saying MLS Cup is next. We're really hoping for a strong MLS push. We're going to talk about our next game versus Montreal, or I believe DC is the other team. We're going to talk about that in a second as well. We're going to talk about other things. We're going to talk about a lot of MLS Cup today, and then later on this week we'll talk about it as well. We're going to do our preview because I think they play on Friday or Saturday. We're going to do our preview later on this week, so make sure we'll talk about that later on in the stream as well. Thomas is saying Tata in, bro. I'm saying Tata in at least for the rest of the season, bro. If it's Montreal or Atlanta, not DC. Excuse me. You know, it's crazy because I literally checked it before the stream too, just to make sure I didn't say DC, and I still ended up saying DC. DC, unfortunately for them, they took an L against Charlotte. Last game of the season, that they lost 3-0, so they were knocked out of that wild card slot. So yeah, now our two opponents are going to be either Montreal or Atlanta. We should probably talk about that. We should probably talk about who we would rather see play. Like, who would you rather play? Because I want to talk about both ends. They played this game tomorrow. Atlanta and Montreal. They play the game tomorrow. And it's going to be, I forget what time they do this. Because maybe we can do like we'll do a stream, or maybe, yeah, they do it tomorrow at 7:30 now. I'll be working. Tomorrow at 7:30. So, and remember, it's a one game and done. It's a one and done type of game. So whoever wins goes through. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to play Atlanta, but I don't want to play Montreal either. The only reason why I don't want to play Montreal is, one, we kind of struggled with them earlier on in the season at home, but mainly I just don't want the team to travel to Montreal. I don't want us to go all the way to Canada for the second game. I would much rather have us play in Atlanta for an away game, to be honest. But it's going to look like, in my personal opinion, I think Montreal is probably going to win that game regardless. I mean, like, they've been on a crazy run of form as of late. They just beat NYCFC, who've also been on a pretty good form recently. A lot of people are not happy about Miami getting to the Club World Cup. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna say my opinion, and then you guys can tell me yours, Thomas. If Josef knocks us out of the playoffs first round, it would be the most embarrassing shit ever, bro. You're telling me? Imagine Josef Martinez. Who does Leicester? No, Leicester got traded. Who does Bryce Duke still play on Montreal? Montreal. Why did I say it like that? Does Bryce Duke still play on Montreal? I'm gonna show you guys what I'm looking at here. Let me make this smaller so you guys can actually see. They still got 1 year. Yeah, Bryce Duke still plays here too, bro. So imagine if Bryce Duke and Josef Martinez combine to knock us out of the playoffs. That would actually be crazy, dude. That would honestly be insane. Bryce Duke played last time. How did they play last time? So Bryce Duke, yeah, no, they play. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is how they beat us last time. Or here, let me open a new tab like this. Close this and close that. Look, we lost 2-3. This is at home, by the way. This is before we traded, I'm pretty sure, Josef Martinez. Oh, no, this is after. Yeah, and Josef Martinez got an assist. Yeah, so we just for some reason, and Leicester played here too. He got an assist as well. We just struggle to play against Montreal for some reason. But yeah, no, I really prefer not to play Montreal. I don't want to travel to Canada. I'd rather play Atlanta. But the only issue with Atlanta is that, one, it's turf. But we've been playing turf all season, right? Like, let's be real here. We've been playing turf all season, and like playing Atlanta one more time shouldn't be that big of a deal. When was the last time we played them? We played them, I feel like, not too long ago. Yeah, we tied 2-2 away. We tied over there. And that was, yeah. Yeah, and then the one before that, we lost them. Here, let me show you guys this. This is the last game we played. It was 2-2 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. At home, we lost to them 3-1. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, if you want to think about it. I don't want to travel because you don't want to go to Montreal because of the travel, and it's going to be cold. Yeah, pretty sure Montreal offers turf also, really. But, like, dude, imagine the turf and the travel on top of that. I feel like it's just, like, that's just going to be, like, a disaster in general. But playing Atlanta is like not that much better because of the turf, because of our history against Atlanta. We haven't beaten Atlanta in our last 3 games since we haven't beaten them since July of 2023, and that was in the Leagues Cup group stage. Um, so so we've not that we've been struggling against Atlanta, but it's very back and forth with them. So it's I don't know. This season, if you want to look at it from like this season, they've been on pretty, like, not poor form. They've been on really average form in these last couple of games. They've won their last 2. Their last win was against Orlando City, which is honestly a big win for them. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I mean, and it's gonna be tough. Like, this wild card game is not gonna be tough, especially because it's 3 games over the course of 3 games. Like, if we play at home, right? Let's say because we play a Friday. I think it's an 8:30 game. Let's say we play Atlanta at home. We might end up. We have to win that. We have to win that game because then if we lose, like, I'd rather lose on the road and then win both of our home games. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's gonna be tough winning on the road against Atlanta, but I don't know. It's gonna be tough. I don't know what you guys think. That is a serial choker. I couldn't agree more with you. Joseph is on fire. He was on fire. Was it? Didn't he score? In the last game, in Montreal's last game against NYCFC, didn't he score? He did. He scored in the 45th minute. And apparently Montreal played terribly against NYCFC in terms of possession, in terms of momentum, in terms of shots. Apparently, like, Montreal were just not existing. But anyways, it's gonna be very, very difficult no matter who we play. And then after that, it's gonna be. Let me show you guys what the bracket is. Playoff bracket, because it's gonna be. Because I checked on Footmob and it's not the right one. It like doesn't show you the correct bracket. Yeah, it doesn't show you the correct bracket. Here we go. Perfect. Boom. MLS. Shout out to MLS for actually having a decent bracket. Or decent bracket graphic, I should say. Okay. So this is the graphic, right? We're over here on the right side. Here, let me move my face to the... That's not what I meant to do. Let me move my face over to the middle here so you guys can see. So yeah, we're over here on the right side. We have Montreal or Atlanta right here, right? Then we'll play one of them. The winner of that game, of this best-of-3 series, would play either Orlando or Charlotte. Not that hard, but not that easy of games either. Cincinnati, and then we'll worry about those later. It's gonna be tough, guys. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be really, really hard. But I digress. Messi's been on fire though. Like, just kind of some things to point out. Messi's been on fire. Suarez has been on point. The defense is the only thing that we've always been lacking in. But I think if our offense shows up, like if Messi continues to show up in the playoffs, if Suarez shows up in the playoffs, if players like Diego Gomez and even like whoever plays on that left wing spot, whether that's Robert Taylor or whoever, and if it's mainly our midfield, like if Brighton Bushi and whoever else plays in that midfield, whether that's Benja, whether that's somebody else, if they can get that midfield situation sorted, so we can actually like play through the middle, then I think we should be fine. Maybe. Choking first round would genuinely, like, it would be the most embarrassing thing in the world. MLS finally hired somebody. Wait, MLS finally hired some need to finally come up with not a horribly shitty graph. Yeah. I mean, it's not like a terrible graph. It gets the job done, I guess, right? I hope we're not choking the first round. Yeah, something that we need to try to avoid is like really, really bad. I've been putting a lot of pressure on this shoulder, and now it's like sore. Drake was really bad on Saturday. I mean, besides the 2 goals, he was fine. Like, I know people have already been like coming at Drake Calendar. I don't want to come at him like that because it's not really his fault. Um, it's like entirely. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think people are being too harsh on Drake Calendar after that performance, like saying that they're gonna play like they want Ustari to start for the playoffs or whatever. I think it's like, no, we gotta rely on Drake. We have to trust in Drake, rely on Drake. Um, but yeah, no, I hope yeah. That's it's Drake is not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about our defense and I'm worried about our midfield, um, and getting countered constantly and not being able to defend that and like adapt to that situation. If we play Atlanta, we'll smoke you. Nah, we won't smoke them. We're not gonna smoking Atlanta is a bit of a stretch, Mike. And I'm normally on your side, but smoking Atlanta is a bit of a stretch. I worry about Columbus too, but that's not something that we have to worry about as of right now. We're not gonna worry about that until we get to the final, like the conference final, if we get to that point. So Columbus is not somebody I worry about. I mean, these are trap games, guys. Like that's what makes me worried. Like Montreal is a trap game. Atlanta is a trap game. These are not like these are teams that barely made it, like barely made the cutoff to playoffs. They've been having iffy, rough, like they've had rough season. Like they've had. Can I speak English? They've been having a rough season all year. So Atlanta barely made it to playoffs, but they have a hold on us where we just can't get a result away from home. And if they come here, they could smoke us if we're not on our game. So we have to be 100%. We'll have to see. We'll really have to see. I'm very excited for this Friday. I don't think I work, so I'm going to be able to watch the game from beginning to end. And I just really hope everything goes well. Yeah. And a gum slinger. That's good. The gum slinger is crazy for Tata. We need to play the back three. What we saw happen in the back four in the counter attack, but I've mentioned that in the preview for the New England game. I'm like, dude, we need to go into it as if we were going into the playoffs in terms of how we were going to structure. But I have also said like maybe Tata wants to throw people off and like I don't know. I don't know how far ahead he thinks, but I genuinely believe with the back three of Busi, Noah Allen left center back, Busi in the middle, and maybe Martinez or Ian Frey or Aviles at the right center back, or you could put Ian Frey or Chilo at the right back spot. I think that would go really, really well, and it could help stop counters, especially with Noah Allen. I can think Noah Allen has that speed and recovery to track back and like win and like just get into position. He could probably slow them down enough for everybody else to transition back. I don't know. I might be stupid and I might not be thinking about it like the right way, but that's just how I see it. Oh, anyway, but we'll talk more about like the preview to well, we won't talk more about it. We will talk about it in the preview later on this week. Remember, Montreal and Atlanta play tomorrow, the 22nd, at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So what is that? Like 4:30, 5:30 Western or Pacific, whatever that time is. 6:30 Central time. So yeah, we'll talk more about that. We'll have the preview on Thursday, and then we'll Miami play Friday. We'll do the post game reaction on Friday. Saturday, either Saturday or Sunday or Monday. I think Monday, because Monday I don't think I work. I'll work all weekend, so Monday I think we'll come back with and then we'll start prepping for the next game if we win, hopefully. Facts. We need the back three, and then we will lose the ball. We are done. That's what I'm saying, dude. And that's without like that. It doesn't matter what opponent we play against. Like if without the back three, we're vulnerable and susceptible to those counterattacks that we can't transition fast enough for. So we'll see what happens on Friday. We're gonna preview it on Thursday. I'm gonna watch the game. I'm gonna watch the Montreal versus Atlanta game tomorrow. If I get back from work early, which I really hope so because tomorrow's supposed to be a long day, and then yeah, and then I'll use that. I'll take some notes of that game. I'll bring it over to the preview, and then I'll see if I can get. I'm gonna see if I can contact a rep for one of those guys, like a media, like somebody like me, like somebody that talks about him on YouTube, so I can get their input on their season and what to expect for their game. Justin Bauer, Miami, yes sir, guys. I want to talk about like Club World Cup. Can we talk about that real quick? Like after the game. By the way, this bucket hat that you see me wearing, they gave this to the first like what 10,000 people that went to the game on Saturday. So we have a bunch of them. We're giving them out to family. But Club World Cup, we need to talk about this because it's been a huge controversial topic in the past, well, for quite a while now. Ever since we've kind of won the supporter, excuse me, even before we won the supporter shield, this has been a very controversial topic. But Inter Miami are going to participate as the host nation, team for the Club World Cup. Now, some people who haven't been in the loop, they can look at this and be like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, they just won Supporter Shield. They're the best team in the MLS right now. Of course they would qualify for Club World Cup. Well, not necessarily, because it's so controversial because FIFA have never, because this is a FIFA tournament, Club World Cup is a FIFA regulated tournament. FIFA have never talked about the qualifications for the host nation for MLS because the Club World Cup is being held here in the US. The four teams that will come out of CONCACAF are the winners of the Champions League, of the CONCACAF Champions League. So the Seattle Sounders are one of them, and I think there's another one that I can't remember off the top of my head. Genuinely don't remember off the top of my head. If you guys remember, then let me know. But Seattle Sounders is one of them, and I think it's. Is there someone else? I feel like there was someone else. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. But it doesn't matter. Seattle Sounders is going to be the other MLS team. But yeah, so essentially FIFA didn't give out any qualifications for what the host nation would be. Would that be the winner of the Supporter Shield? Would that be the winner of the MLS? Eventually, after the Supporter Shield win, it was more and more likely that Inter Miami were going to be given that spot because they won the Supporter Shield. Now, a lot of people don't like this because the whole point of the MLS, if you win the MLS, you win, you've had to have won the MLS Cup, not the Supporter Shield. But FIFA are viewing it, their argument for selecting Inter Miami for this position was because of their record, because they have the best record in the league, and because on a traditional format, Inter Miami would have won if it was like any other league in the world. But people don't like this. For me personally, I don't give a fuck. Inter Miami are in the Club World Cup, guys. So I don't give a fuck. But I understand the frustration, and I understand people like the controversy and how people don't like this, and that they're showing this could be showing favoritism to Messi and to Inter Miami. But you gotta think about it, right? Like when you put it into perspective of FIFA, it's already been okay, how as a FIFA, as an organization, how could you not include somebody like Lionel Messi into your tournament? If you have the possibility to include the best player of all time in your tournament in their host nation, why wouldn't you do it? it sounds scummy. It looks sus, right? It looks very suspicious because they never released these qualifications until now, or at least literally the president of FIFA literally didn't say anything until like he literally went to Miami on Saturday and he announced it in front of everybody, and that was the official statement. So I don't know. It is suspicious, but do you think like Miami deserve it? I 100% like. I think regardless, Miami deserve it. FIFA wait for Miami to win. Something to announce. People are not wrong to be mad. The team that could bring the most money is to qualify for FIFA. They're not wrong to be mad, but let's be real. People hate Miami since day one. Messi came and they try to find anything to hate. Yeah, because Messi. They're going to be Messi for whatever reason, right? Messi. There are going to be Messi haters, um, all over the world. So people are gonna hate on Messi forever. People aren't gonna hate on Inter Miami for the rest of time, because Messi plays there. But when you think about it, how does Inter Miami not deserve this spot? Besides winning MLS Cup, like this is the best MLS team in history. Not just by the names, but just what they've accomplished. They've gotten the best record in MLS history. They've gotten the most points ever accumulated in a regular season. They are the favorites to win the MLS Cup. They have Messi, Suarez, Bussi, and Jordi Alba. Put him in the Club World Cup. Put him in the Club World Cup. It's going to be, I don't know how far they'll get. Don't know how far they'll get. I think there are actually games that are going on right now for the Club World Cup. But I don't know how far they'll get. But hey, Inter Miami should be shown favoritism. I think Inter Miami are always suspected to be shown favoritism, and whether it is or not, I mean, hey, I'm just glad that my team are in the Club World Cup. I believe it's all about money, business, business, business. Now they're going to invite Ronaldo's team and make millions, and that's another. That's a great point. Now that you bring it up, I don't think that they are going to qualify. I genuinely I don't know how it works in terms of the qualification. I think because his team is in Asia, right? So it says 4 teams, 3 qualify via the Asian Champions League, the AFC Champions League, and then 1 qualifies through a ranking pathway. I don't think don't think I don't know if any Asian teams have been confirmed yet. Yes, one of them. A Korean team. Oh, 2 of them. A Japanese team. So we have a Korean team, a Japanese team. Al Hilal qualified. And I think they're missing one more. Oh no, they have Al Ain. No, so Ronaldo is not even in it. So Al Nassr is not even gonna be in it. So I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna work. So yeah, maybe highly doubt that they'll actually bring something like this. Argent FIFA, I love it. Messi fans going to eat well. Yeah, right. That's why we need to win the MLS Cup to shut them off, dude. I mean, of course that'll shut everybody up. If Inter Miami win the MLS Cup, what could they possibly say at that point? Like, what could haters possibly say at that point? Oh, like if we win the Supporter Shield, if we win MLS Cup, we're already in CONCACAF. We're already in the Club's World Cup. What more will they have to say? Oh, that they wanted us to win the MLS Cup? It doesn't make any sense. Inter Miami versus Real Madrid would be legendary. That Barcelona. I mean, seeing Inter Miami play any team would be very, very cool, especially if we play them at our home field. I would love to go to a Club World Cup game. It's going to be so expensive. Dude, guys, this is off topic. Have you seen the tickets for the World Cup in 2026? Like, the cheapest tickets are like $2,000. It's ridiculous. It's genuinely ridiculous. I've been saving up for so long, for like 2 years, to afford tickets, and I'm not going to be able to afford them. I want to see Argentina play a World Cup game once in my life. I'm really hoping I can. Even if it's not in Miami, I really want to go. But dude, those tickets I saw like I don't know if it was a leak or if it was official, but I saw somewhere like tickets were like 2 grand. And so with these I don't think the Club World Cup is going to be that high or that expensive. But if it's Inter Miami versus like PSG or Bayern Munich or Man City or Madrid or Chelsea or I don't know any one of those big teams, even if it's like Inter Miami versus like River Plate or Boca Juniors, bro, the tickets for that would go crazy. Al Hilal, Urawa Red Diamonds, Al Ain, Ulsan HD are all the Asian teams. So, oh, okay. Oh, I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it now. I got it. Al Hilal, Urawa Red Diamonds. Yeah, okay. I was confused. I forgot Al Ain are Asian. Yeah, and then Korea, Japan, UAE. What is KSA? Don't know what KSA means. Is that also? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Barcelona not. Yeah, no. I just looked at it here. Look, I have the list pulled up. I was just reading off the list, and I just pulled it up, and I realized that they're not there. The only top teams are Atleti, Juve, Borussia Dortmund, Benfica, Porto, Milan, PSG, Bayern, City, Madrid, Chelsea. They got Salzburg, they got Monterrey in there as well. They got Pachuca who won the Champions Cup. Uh, Flamengo. They got a lot of really good Brazilian teams. River Plate, Boca, and now it's and then us all the way down here. Will there gate crashes and air vent commandos at Hard Rock for? Yeah, they're probably gonna, dude. They're probably gonna bar up like every vent now. Ever since that, it was real. Like I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was gonna go. I was gonna go to that final. Um, I had the opportunity to do so. I want to say the day before. I don't know if it was the day before or a couple of days before, but it was like the same week. That same week, I was gonna go with my dad, and at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? Like, I had a gut feeling like not to do it. Like I told my dad, I'm like, Dad, like I really want to go. Like I want to experience uh Argentina play in a final. I mean, like I've already seen Argentina play live in the Finalissima in Wembley, but I just wanted to see them again, right? Like and especially if they're like down the road. But I had a gut feeling that I knew something bad was gonna happen at the Hard Rock, and lo and behold, that craziness, like literal craziness. Like imagine I spent like $1,000. I would have spent like probably a grand. I just spit everywhere. Sorry. I think I would have spent like a grand or maybe a couple grand, maybe 2 grand on like tickets just to not get in and then have to fight for a refund with Ticketmaster. Like it would have been so bad. Oh, it wouldn't even been with Ticketmaster because we would have gotten from a friend of ours. But yeah, so I'm assuming that if the Club World Cup were to come, it's a FIFA regulated tournament, so it'll probably be better managed, and also they'll probably bar up all the events and stuff like that. It'll probably be a lot safer. So I don't know. We'll see. That's gonna take place next summer, which is gonna be fun. It's gonna be hot as hell down here, man. It's gonna be so hot. It's gonna be brutal. I'm honestly not looking forward to that heat. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. But hey, guys, we're history makers, man. Just shout out to Lionel Messi. Shout out to Benja. Shout out to Inter Miami for breaking that record, for winning the Supporter Shield, for being a part of history once again, for now being in the Club World Cup, and now this Friday we're gonna be able to see them play in their first playoffs in 2 years, or since last year. We didn't qualify last year, so now we're gonna, for the first time in since last season, we're gonna see them, or for 2 seasons ago, we're gonna see them in the playoffs, which is very very exciting, very very exciting. From worst to best, ladies and gentlemen, zero to hero. Who is this? There's just one team left to qualify. The 2024 Libertadores winners, Atlético Mineiro, River, Botafogo, and Peñarol. Oof, that's gonna be good. No, River already qualified. I already saw River already qualified. Oh, they qualify now because yeah, they qualified because it says here qualified ranking pathway. Don't know if that means like they're actually qualified or right. So if the ranking, I'm assuming if they get knocked out now, their ranking will go down and then they won't be qualified anymore or something like that. Something like I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that'll be so good, bro. Like the South American teams and the Central American teams, like that'd be even that alone would be insane to witness Inter Miami play again because it'll be like the CONCACAF Champions League all over again. Remember the CONCACAF Champions League, or CONCACAF Champions Cup, we did pretty bad. We did pretty bad. It wasn't the best. If River doesn't win Libertadores, they qualify through ranking. Right. Okay. Right. That'd be so cool. If I could see Boca or River, like I would see Boca or River play in Miami. I would love to see them come down here and play. I think it'd be pretty cool. I mean, some of our former players play like Gonzalez Pires plays for River, right? And then um, Figal plays for Boca. I'm pretty sure still. Then they have El Chiquito Romero. They have freaking Marcos Rojo. They have Cavani. I would like to see Boca come. But anyway, let's see. What else I think that's I'm trying to think of another thing that I had planned to talk about. I don't think I did. I talked about the game. I talked about our points record. I talked about CONCACAF Champions Cup. Or not CONCACAF Champions Cup. World Cup. Keep saying CONCACAF Champions Cup. Club World Cup. I talked about Club World Cup. I talked about the playoffs. I talked about this upcoming game against Montreal and Atlanta, which we'll talk more in depth on Thursday. And I think that's it. I think that's it. That's it on my agenda, at least. That's it on my agenda. If you guys want to break up anything else, then let me know. We'll put that up on the agenda as well. Um I don't feel like we took the CONCACAF Champions Cup seriously. Um Maybe seriously is not the right word, but I understand what you mean, Ash. Like I don't want to say we didn't take it seriously, but like we weren't ready. I personally, and that's what I think that's what I thought of before. I don't think we were ready to play in a tournament like that because people's expectations was to win the CONCACAF Champions Cup. They thought that we were going to do that. And the realistic part of me, the logical side of me was like, yeah, that's not happening because we don't have that much experience in our team to be playing against these Central American teams and going to Mexico, playing in Mexico. It's like it's the pressure behind it. I feel like is a lot more, even if it's not traveling. Like the pressure behind those games was different. I feel like it was different than to MLS. But I understand what you mean, and I mean, hey, we're gonna have another shot at it next year. So, and maybe next year we can be more competitive in it. We'll see. Neymar is going to be a free agent in the summer of 2025. Yeah, I've talked about in the past that if Neymar were to come here, it would probably be very monumental for the club as well. Like to have Messi, Neymar, like the reunion of MSN would be astronomical. That would break it would break the internet. It would break Apple TV. Like it's a huge money move for everybody involved. Don't know if I don't know if Neymar ever said that he wanted to renew or stay in Saudi, but I did see that he touched the field for the first time in like a year, which is crazy, which is great for him. Um, I don't know because Suarez's people him and his people have been in talks for renewing for another season, saying that he feels good, that he would like to play or something like that. So maybe we can see Suarez play for another year. Um, so seeing if we could see Suarez and Messi play again, well, I think we'll have a spare international slot or a DP slot. Like we can use Neymar. We could save that DP spot for Neymar. I think we could do it. If we have the finances to do it, I think the club should do it. I think like it would go crazy. It would go absolutely crazy. And Neymar doesn't even have to stay for 1 year. He could stay for 2 years. He could be like the I don't want to say the next Messi, but like when Messi leaves in 2026 or 2027 or whenever he leaves, whether that's the end of the 2025 season or the end of the 2026 season, Neymar I think should still kind of be there for maybe another year. So then Neymar can get his own sales. Maybe he'll sell the Neymar 10. We'll see. Yeah, today he played for the first time. Yeah, I saw a TikTok on it. I saw a TikTok of him coming on the field, which is great for him. But yeah, but that's something we'll talk about. That's something we'll talk about after the postseason. We're gonna talk about our squad availability. We're gonna talk about who's leaving, who's staying, who's renewing, who's not. We're gonna talk about that all like after postseason. We're gonna have like a whole like depth chart thing, and that's something I'm gonna prepare for. Like targets that we should consider bringing in terms of big names, maybe players that we should probably get rid of, things like that, and all of the above. But um, that's gonna be the end for me, guys. I don't know if you guys I appreciate everybody that came in. You guys are very awesome for tuning in. I just wanted to, this was just more of like just congratulatory thing for Miami, for Messi, for making history. Messi doing it in fashion, scoring that hat trick in 11 minutes off the bench. Miami being the best team in the MLS has ever seen, not just in this season but of all time. And we go again. Now it's playoffs. Now this is where the game actually starts, man. This is where the season actually starts. Now in playoffs. This is where it matters the most now. The points record is great. The supporter shield is great. I'm not bashing it, especially not the supporter shield. I love another trophy in our cabinet. But we need to focus on MLS. We need to focus on that Eastern Conference title. We need to focus on that MLS Cup. And hopefully we can bring that home to Chase Stadium and for La Familia. But guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Hair and Saver podcast here on the SoFlo Soccer channel. My name is Matt, your host as always, and I will see you guys on Thursday for the preview to round one of the best of three series that will take place on Friday. I'll see you guys then. Have a great rest of your Monday. And yeah, remember that playoff game, that wild card game is going to happen tomorrow at 7:30. So you guys got to check that out. Make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.